we were talking elaborately about some aspects of the very subtle subject of emotion. In a way, we stated that emotion has great power and influence in these days in the world. By PR and media, and also in matters of war and peace. Its power also is demonstrated by the simple fact that it can practically make and stimulate thoughts that we otherwise wouldn't have. Let us for a moment listen to the word emotion itself. Originally, it comes from Latin. Movere means move in English, almost like in Latin. The prefix "a" in emotion can be related with the word "ex", which means out. It is useful to think about this suggestion that is given by language itself. Emotion now means move out. I think we can come now closer to this remarkable word. Out of what does what move? In between, I wish to emphasize that we must think about this very authentically. I mean with reference to our own experience. First, let us ask, where does emotion begin? I think we all recognize that it starts with a feeling, a sensation. Our sensitivity is touched by something. Let us remark that also the word touch has two meanings. It has also the meaning of being hurt. Now we may think that emotions arise out of our feeling or sensitivity. So emotion moves out of feeling. The next question was, what moves out of our feeling? The question points to a subtle answer. The answer has to be subtle, because verbalization of feelings and their process is in fact always too complicated. It is an approach of a continuum by means of, in the end, discontinuous, discursive thinking and formulation. Thinking that is in the end depending on, nevertheless, subtle choices. It is this or that. Again, what then moves out of feeling? Well, feeling again, but with an extra factor. That extra factor can be all kinds of things. Frustration, anger, enthusiasm, or even simply physical energy. The original feeling is filled up with something else. In between, is that also the case with enthusiasm? We have often named it emotion that way, enthusiasm. But is it enthusiasm about the original feeling? Or is it because we want to bring the original feeling under the attention of others by making it larger, greater, to be more impressive? The outer expression of that is, for instance, as we all know, raising the voice, speaking louder or shouting or even roaring, yelling, screeching, and so on. The English, as other languages, has many words for it. That is not for nothing. The ways emotions are made and enlarged are many. And understanding these ways and the mostly subconscious intentions of these ways is a very subtle way of getting a sort of collective self-knowledge, which can bring, of course, success and happiness. In a conscious way, we practice emotion on an extremely large scale in film industry, drama, and also in interviews, in PR in general, and in a way in pop music. Besides enthusiasm and expression and the urge to come over to others, there is of course also emotion without that conscious or subconscious intention. By the way, also in classical music we see emotion. Conductors, for instance, often use great emotions, but it seems that the best often do not. A remarkable pianist once said, "Behind the piano, it is not a place for great emotions." What now is the very first step in the arisal of emotion out of feeling? It is important to know that and to try to recognize things. It is the science of the subjective. As we said, it can be compared with being touched. A feeling is touched and not immediately integrated and digested in a way. Instead of that, we say, "Oh, the feeling was more than we could bear, and we want to bring it out. Perhaps others help, or perhaps the expression itself can be used for the enforcement of communication." In the case of negative emotion, that is all clear. But how can we see positive emotion as being heard? Besides the snobism, which often occurs in the realm of artisticity. Well, positive emotion can hurt in a way. Something may be so beautiful and promising that it can bring a deep and even painful longing and also discontent about that in which this light was thrown. If we cannot immediately integrate this, then we are in a way touched in the two senses of the word. With negative emotions again, no explanation is needed. Something simply hurts us. Justified or not, that is not the point. It can be hatred, rejection, underestimation, vulgarity, accusation, condescension, anger and aggression and defiance. Suppose we are challenged to the utmost by defiance, aggression, vulgarity and hatred, and even threatened. Are we able then to integrate and assimilate the resonance of all that in our feelings? We can be hurt. The emotion may come, also hatred and so on, possible. Well, on that moment, we have a choice. The choice is, are we going to believe in that emotion the negative emotion, and even give expression and reinforcement to it, even in actions? Or are we going to fight, not reject, as seen in chapter 3, the enlargement of the emotion, and work hard to integrate it? Do we fight ourselves or do we fight others? That are two completely different activities. Can we and wish we to accept and beforehand forgive that which we experience as evil? Then we have made a great step, even by believing in it. It is humanly impossible to integrate an impression, a negative impression caused by others, without forgiveness. This integration into our being is real victory, not the revenge that is guided by an emotional copy of the negative feeling that is supposedly caused by others. A much slower process is enacted by us, much slower than emotion, namely the process of immotion. Emotion, a new word, a made word, will be the theme of the next speech.